This project is about making ourselves fit for the future. We have published targets within the National Trust to reduce our fossil fuel consumption by 50% by the year 2020. This property had the second highest oil consumption in the northwest region, and an opportunity presented itself through Good Energy that we've recently partnered with to actually obtain some funding.
Good Energy have been working with National Trust for the last 6 or 7 months, and in Acorn Bank today we're opening their new biomass boiler. It's a conversion from an old boiler to a new wood-fired clean green energy powered one, which is great. Cuts their carbon use and their use of oil. And Good Energy, we're just here to kind of spread the word about renewable energy and what it can do in special places.
It's the first project that we've actually achieved with Good Energy. Been really successful so far.
Beforehand there was 2 oil boilers here, probably 50-55% efficiency. If you look at something like this, it's 93%. Got a huge amount of efficiency just in changing the system, and then you're looking at the savings over oil as well. Yeah, it should make a massive difference to the property. We've come today, we've just been carrying out a training for the staff at the National Trust. It shows you what you should see on the screen. Just how to use the system, what the controls are to the system. If we're going to boiler number 1, yeah, things to look out for, what to do when the fuel store's empty, how to empty the ash boxes out. Once that's off, it's just a case of sitting it on top of that.
Right.
Instead of filling oil tanks up with oil, we can now use UK sourced wood pellets.
We can get about 7 tonne of pellets in this tank, which is blown in through the filler here. The wagon would back up on the outside and blow into the tank and fill it up.
You're almost going back to the future, using wood fuel that would have been used in the house at some stage.
Look at that! That's flames. Well, it looks hot in there. 750, 800 degrees. Probably looking about 30% saving in running costs over the oil system. We've also got heat meters fastened to this system, so the National Trust will be able to claim back on the renewable heat incentive for the heat that's basically used in the buildings.
As a result of this project, we're also making the property a lot more efficient. Each pound that a member spends on membership or in the tea rooms, for example, is a pound spent on conservation rather than going into inefficient boilers, wasted energy. Any renewables that we're putting in, we don't want to waste that renewable energy, whether it's hydro or biomass. We also look to try and conserve the wood fuel at the same time. And one of the chief technologies that we've been working on in the Trust is lighting. The lights that you can see here in this room are lights that we've worked with a company to develop, and specifically for the heritage sector, that are LED candle bulbs, and we're already seeing really good results from an aesthetic point of view and an energy efficiency point of view as well. In terms of replacing the boiler, what we've actually done is reduce reliance on oil, but also reduce that pollution risk to our important species on site, such as great crested newt, protected species. The water mill is something we're looking at that would bring back the legacy of hydropower to the property, and that could produce electricity and actually to tell the story of what the property was used for in a former life.
There's been a mill here since the Knights Templar were here in 1228. There was a mill mentioned then. This building itself is from about 1790, 1800.
It really does help to enhance the property. In some ways you could look at Acorn Bank with the water mill, with the gardens and the property itself. It's almost a microcosm of the National Trust in one property. With everything in the Trust, if we're putting in a biomass boiler or in a hydro scheme, for example, we will look for additionality. So it's how can we actually improve the conservation of the property or the biodiversity at the same time as the project. If the National Trust can't do any of this with the legacy of renewables that we've already got, then who can?